Hello everyone, Orano Gaming here, and today I'm going to be doing my first commentary video on the channel, and I decided to make it a tips and tricks videos since I know a lot of players are looking to know a few key things to learn about the game to play better and to improve their skill level. Now, let's go ahead and get into tip number one. Alright, now tip number one is going to be communication. Now, in this game, communication is key, and I know a lot of people like to solo queue, but even then, there's still in-game chat. The game is always better with a team, but solo queuing is okay. Now, this game is a team game. It's all about communication and working with your team to give them the proper callouts, which can really be in a life or death situation. Now, some things about communication are if you look in the bottom of your screen, it's more on the right side, you will see that in whatever room you're in, it will give you that room name, and there's also a compass there if you want directions of anything. That's very key in communication. I highly recommend even going through maps and memorizing the names of rooms so you can provide those callouts to your teammates. Now, another big key factor of communication that you'll hear in higher rank comms and pro league comms is that they call out everything, every little detail, everything they do, and that is very important. If you're gonna flashbang somewhere, call it out to your team. If you hear this is very important. If you hear a noise like a window breaking or an explosion go off, call it out to your team because they may be able to provide you with some information about that call out or what that sound was, and that could potentially lead to a kill, or you can play off of that. Just remember, it's something that all new players should learn how to do, and it is very key to the game. If you have better communication, I can guarantee you're going to win more with those callouts. Alright, now heading into tip number two. Tip number two is going to be passive, and I name it that because that's exactly what it is. This game is not all about kills, it's not about KD, this is not Call of Duty, and you should not have that mindset. This game is about teamwork, like I said before, and it is about playing smart. If you're not gonna have smart thinking and, as I guess some would say, those big brain plays, then you really need to start having that mentality. Now, when I say passive, I don't mean that you can't be a fragger. I don't mean you can't play Ash, Vigil, Jaeger, stuff like that. That is absolutely fine. But the thing about that is you need to be working with your team to do stuff like entry frag, clear out roamers, and give callouts early in the round on where the enemy team is located or what gadgets they have set up and whatnot. You need to be good at that fragger role. But as a fragger, you do not need to peek everything. You do not need to wide swing. You need to play passive. You need to stay back. If you're a support player, not one of those entry fraggers, you need to be playing support. You need to be giving callouts, working on, taking a wall, hard breaching, watching angles, and stuff like that. If you're in defense, remember, they have to come to you. You don't have to push them. They hold angles, let them peek, pre-fire things, because that is how you're going to win, not by doing runouts or spawn peaks. Now, if that's your style, or if you want to mess around and casual with that stuff, then absolutely go ahead by any means. But if you are looking to improve and get a higher rank and whatnot, or just be better at the game overall, that stuff will help you win tremendously. Alright, getting into tip number three, it is going to be 5-stack, or a stack in general. Now, it is okay, like I said, to solo queue. That's absolutely fine. But you're going to perform so much better in this game if you play with friends or like-minded individuals, or just if you play with people you meet and play well with. You're going to have a chance more of winning, and this especially helps in ranked. If you really want to go for that high rank, having a 5-stack will help tremendously. It is a key factor of this game. It doesn't have to be a 5-stack. It could be even a duo, as long as you're playing with someone. And honestly, it will be a lot more fun. If there's someone you work well with, you don't even have to know them. But if you play together well, and can chill, then it will be a lot more fun of a time for you, and you will be more likely to win the game. Alright, tip number 4, and this is a bit more of a side tip for some players, but it is going to be about raging. Now, raging in this game is absolutely okay. It's okay in any game, but, and so is being toxic in some cases. You know, if you need to let that steam out by messaging someone, go ahead and do that by any right. But do not take that rage out on the game or the enemy team, or actually, especially your team. The only person you can blame most of the time for your own death is you. Even if you think you hit someone in the head and the game didn't register it, or if your teammate should have been doing something, you are still the one that died at the end of the day, and most of the time it will be because of something you did. The other factor or the other reason you're using may be a part of it, but you can still think on and work about what you did wrong in that situation. When you die, before you rage, you should really think about why you truly died and what you can improve on and remember next time, because if you can't do that, you're never going to get better. You're going to be stuck. You cannot play, or you cannot blame the game. You cannot blame your teammates or whatever. You need to self-reflect and analyze what you did, and that way you can stop it from happening in the next round. Alright, and getting into tip number 5, it is going to be play to your strengths. And this is a pretty obvious tip, you may think, but it is something that not a lot of players do. Now I'm going to give you a quick example before I get into the tip here, alright? So you main Zofia. You are absolutely amazing with Zofia. You frag very well every time you play her, but you just got this new operator that you want to try out. Your friends want to play ranked. Now you're losing 2-3. You're on attack, and you're confused on which op to play, and you want to try out this new op, and your team isn't telling you who to go. Now, in this situation, I would usually be nice and tell you to follow your heart, but no, you really need to play to your strengths. And there's this beautiful thing called R6 Tracker and R6 Tab, both tracking apps for your R6 statistics. But if you go on there, it will show you your operator stats and which operators you were best with. And in my opinion, if you want to play new ops, you should go to casual, you should even go to terrorist hunt. But if you're going to improve and get better and perform the best, you should be using those ops, those top 2, top 3 ops. You should be constantly using them, should be playing them in casual, terrorist hunt, everything, just mastering them to the best of your ability. That way, when you're in a game, you know who you're going to pick and you know how you're going to play them. It is a key rule to this game, and playing to your strengths doesn't just mean operators. It's a bigger part of it, though, and I like to focus on it. But it could also mean if you know you're good at any type of role in the game, play to that. If you know you're good at pushing a certain room on a map, or doing something like as simple as bandit tricking or maverick tricking, stuff like that, play to that ability, help your team out, and you will always do better playing to something you're good at than playing to something you're new or don't know how to do. Alright, we're going to get into probably one of the most important but most obvious tips here, and it is going to be practice. Tip number 6 is practice. You can be amazing at this game if you put time and effort and practice into it. Now, people may be wondering, well, how do I practice? What should I do? Now, not too many people believe in Terrorist Hunt. I've been called a bot before for playing Terrorist Hunt, and then I ended up absolutely demolishing the same guy. And all I'm going to tell you right now is that T-Hunt is one of the best things you can do. It does not work for everyone, but playing just 1 or 2 before you go into a game can always help. It can never really hurt you. It is just a quick, nice warm-up, And I'm going to tell you right now, if you want to have barely any recoil, or if you want to be able to control or be good with guns, play T-Hunt. 30, 45 minutes a day, play T-Hunt. Personally, my schedule with it is to do about 10 a day, and I cycle through different practicing strategies I go through. I recommend doing one where you use high recoil guns like the SMG-11, the F2, Ella's Scorpion if you want. You can play on defense and use defensive ops. Just play T-Hunt. Play a few with ops you barely play a few with ops you main, and then try out some challenges. One taps only, high recoil guns only, spray firing, hip firing, stuff like that. It will get your aim in good shape, teach you a bit about the game, and you can also teach yourself how to do things you want to know how to do. If you want to set goals for yourself and achieve those goals, do it in T-Hunt. Stuff like if you want to learn how to quick peek, go into T-Hunt, start quick peeking corners, you'll become good at it. You can also just practice by obviously playing the game. If you don't want to play in ranked, go into unranked. They have casual, they have stuff like that. A highly recommended thing for newer players, since I want to include them as well, is to do the situations until you master them, until you get all those, 3 stars or whatever. Play the situations, it will teach you a lot about the game. Alright, the last and final tip is going to be tip number 7. Now, this is not as important, but still very important to your gameplay. Droning. Droning. And I'll even include defense in this somehow. Okay? Now, a little bit about droning. If you don't know, droning is the thing in a game at the start of a round during prep phase when you're on attacking. You're in that little drone view, and you can move around the map. You can now ping things. You can ping enemies, which will identify them on the top of the scoreboard and tell you who is on the enemy team. You can figure out what bomb site they are, where they have utility or attacker or defender presence, and it's a very good way of getting intel. And now this game is a lot about intel. It's very intel heavy and based, very utility heavy. You need pretty much every game you need on defense some sort of intel like Echo and Valkyrie. On attack you need some sort of intel like, say, Twitch, or now Zero's in the game, stuff like that. Now, droning is very important. You need to drone your teammates in to clear rooms. You need to drone yourself in. It will help you stay alive longer in rounds tremendously, and you will be able to give better callouts to your teammates to make sure they can get kills and not die themselves. Now, even on defense, once you die, you should be checking cameras. You should be giving callouts to your team based on sounds you hear or what you see on those cameras, stuff like that. You should be using Intel Ops if you're one of those players who likes to, and setting up good Intel-based cameras like Valkyrie and Echo Cams, Maestro, all very good operators to play. And this game is very Intel heavy, like I said before, very useful to your team. Now, that is going to be it for the video. Real quick, I forgot to mention this at the beginning, but I know not too many people want to take trips, English is hard, tricks from a guy who sounds like he's 11. I'm just going to put this out here now. I'm 14, and a little bit of background information about me. So I've played Siege for a bit over a year now. I am a 4 times Plat 3 overall, pretty close to a Plat 2 player. I have about a 1.1 KD on average, but I'm just going to say now, I have played in a few various tournaments against, diamonds and champs. I've met some pretty good players in the game, and I have learned a lot of things in my short time playing. That's why I would like to pass that knowledge on to you. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Keep playing, keep practicing, and live on gaming.